Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
A Very Bookish Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to a Very Bookish Podcast. This is episode 53. We have been doing this for a full year now. Like, ugh.
Do you
Anyways,
remember that this episode, our second episode, was actually Celine?
yeah, our first episode.
Was it our second episode?
It was our
It
second
was.
episode because our first episode was like getting to know us, and then our second episode was with Celine, and like it's crazy to like think
Mhm.
about.
That was
You have
such a cute
home
episode.
now. That was a really. She was the
Yeah,
best like first guest to have on. Definitely, she's very
yeah.
chill.
Such a
It was a
vibe.
great episode too. Like it was hilarious.
It was so funny. So if you guys haven't listened to that episode, we suggest going back and listening to our first guest,
Yeah, because Pauline
It was
or not
awesome.
Pauline, Celine.
Celine.
I've been thinking about Pauline and her collab box. That's what I've been thinking
Oh
about.
yeah.
And so, but yeah, so today's episode, we're just going to be chit-chatting a couple topics that we're going to hit on. We're going to talk about audiobooks, reading slumps, and we're also going to talk about, whoa, that was not English. We're also going to be talking about bookshelves and decorating bookshelves and how we basically shelve books.
Yeah, because there's so many people out there that have different opinions on that.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah.
let's start a little bit with our update on our 12 books of Christmas.
Yes. So I am done with school for this semester.
Okay, I was gonna say you're done with the challenge already.
In one day. I just read like I read like 12 novellas in one day. But so I'm done finally with the semester of school, turned in my ethics paper and everything, and did tests and everything. So I'm done. So now I'm finally starting the 12 books of Christmas, which I have like 14 days. So there's like a book a day basically, which is going to be great. I have like a couple novellas that I need to read, so those are definitely like the Scream for Us novella I'm going to read. And then her like one that also comes out, and it's like the like sequel book. I'm going to read those. But currently, I texted Grace last night about this, but I am currently, and I posted on Instagram, so if you haven't already, please go check that out because that post is not doing well. But my Instagram, y'all, do not come for me in my filters on my Instagram. I'm not the best at preset filters and lighting. I'm gonna just say that. I use like the like filters on the iPhone that like comes with like when you take a photo, the filter. That's what I was using for like the past like 4 months. And so now I'm like doing a Lightroom one, and I'm like,
Girl, I told you I got you with the Lightroom. Don't worry. I'll make a preset for you and then I'll send it and you just have to add it.
bet. But
Bet.
I am reading the Stopover by TL Swan. This is part of the Miles High Club. I am 68 pages in.
It's a kind of thick book, isn't it?
Yeah, the like I listen at 2.2 to like 2.5x speed, and it's like a 6-hour
Mm-hmm.
audiobook at 2.0x
Mm-hmm.
speed, and I'm like,
It's a hefty book
it's
because it's the first couple chapters are on that one encounter,
yeah. I'm past
and
that now.
and then we jump forward and we got to get all the tension, the build up, the
Yeah.
workplace romance.
And I didn't realize that this was like it's kind of like it's not like the size of a mass market paperback, but it's also not that like traditional size of like a self-published book. I think I could compare it to like Lauren Asher's size.
Yeah,
It's
because
like the same size as Lauren Asher's books. It's that like off, smaller, but it also doesn't have the self-published feel. Do you know what I mean? Like it it's a lot more smoother, but it's also not self-published. It's Montlake Romance.
yeah, it has like a smaller publishing company. Hold on, my
Yeah.
mic is like messing up, but Yeah, it's a little bit smaller. It's like a weirder size, halfway. But I like the size. I like the
I
size
do.
because it's the self-published ones sometimes a little too much.
See, what I would rather like is if it was like, like literally like gonna say it because it's right on your shelf and I can see it, like the Mattis Obsession, that size, where I like that size of the book where it has that kind of like font, because the font in this is pretty big. Like, I think
Mhm.
for this like size of book, it's a pretty big font. And I was like, if we had the same font in like that size of a book, I think
And the
I
same
would,
size pages, it wouldn't be that
yeah,
big.
yeah, it wouldn't
Because
be
I
as
read it
thick.
on ebook. I read it on
Yeah,
Kindle.
yeah.
And I
And
was zipping through those
it
pages.
is floppy.
Yeah, that's why I
Like,
like
listen
it.
to this. You hear that?
I feel so good.
It just like,
Okay, quick pause on that. Have you been getting ASMR TikTok lives on your For You
oh my
page?
God, no. I literally get them all the time and I'm so confused because I'm like, okay, I will say that I sometimes will frequent the ASMR like hashtag, so I think that's why. But like live
Not
suggestions.
me.
Oh, well, like I've done it like twice maybe, but that was like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
But like I've recently been getting like the weirdest fucking lives ever. Where like there's one like a Barbie dancing and I'm like, who the fuck is doing this? And it has like 6,000 viewers and I'm like,
It's
what
probably
is
all
happening?
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
no.
I think it gets
So
recommended to people at the same time and
yeah,
everybody's looking at it at once. That's what's happening.
because like can you leave this thing? Because like I'll get all these ASMR videos and I'm just like, this is not me. It's
Mm-hmm.
not my vibe. Why are you here?
Yeah.
But then it's also like I can't stop watching because I'm like, they're really getting a whole bunch of viewers just watching
Well,
this.
some of them are like crazy ASMR where it's like they're doing it not for the ASMR, they're doing it for like the like wow factor of it. Because they'll do like the
Mm-hmm.
craziest things, and I'm like, this really isn't ASMR. Because I listen to like ASMR where I don't listen to it much now, but I used to listen to it to like go to sleep and stuff. And they would like do like whole role playing and stuff. And so it definitely was a lot more effort than like, not saying that it isn't effort, but it definitely was more higher production than the
Mm-hmm.
TikTok live ones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's something. But okay, so yeah, to take the stopover, are you what's your thoughts on it? What's your vibe?
So my first initial vibe was because I'm listening to it with the audiobook, so it's a different writing style that I'm really used to with these kinds of like romance books. It definitely has that rom-com feel, if you know what I mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way she talks and the way like her inner monologue is, it definitely feels like a rom-com book, but it's not, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. Like she talks like she's in a rom-com. Like if I think about it, like people we meet on vacation or like those like kind of like contemporary like romance,
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's
because
where
it is contemporary.
it is.
It just
But
doesn't feel contemporary because of the
yeah,
cover.
it doesn't feel contemporary, but what I'm thinking of is like maybe it is the cover that my
It's throwing you
expectations
off.
is throwing me off because like if it was like if it was
A
like
cartoon cover?
a cartoon cover, I would understand the writing style and stuff. But I think that's so funny that it's like everybody like understands now that like some cartoon covers are like they set a vibe for the book. And the
Yeah.
book I feel like doesn't match really the vibe of the cover is what I
Mm.
think.
The cover matches the vibe of him alone.
Yeah,
It doesn't
not her.
match the vibe of her. Yeah.
I've seen like videos of people like recreating like covers and stuff. I would
Mhm.
love to see somebody recreate this as like um
A rom-com. But it's
like
not a
a
rom-com. It's not a
well
rom-com
like
because it's
as just a
not
cartoon cover.
com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as a cartoon
Contemporary.
cover. Yeah. A cartoon
Rom-con.
cover. Rom-com.
Rom-con? Rom-con?
It's a
Is
con
that
because you'll
better?
never experience this type of love.
You'll never experience it
Oh my
ever.
gosh.
Um, Maybe I'll do it. We'll see.
Do
I could
it.
think of something.
You could do it.
I
But like
could probably.
I could imagine like her like walking like in like her like black dress and like pulling like a suitcase behind her and then like him up at the like over like leaning on like you have it like the stopover and under it's her walking and then him like leaning on like the E or something. I could imagine that as like a like a those like it's like that style of
Mhm,
cartoon.
mhm.
But yeah.
With her wearing the scarf.
Yeah, that
Mm,
would be.
mm, Okay. Anyways,
But he is a big
um,
flirt, and I do like that
he
about him.
is a big flirt. That's why I like him. He's such a,
Except I
but
have to say the name Jim. The name
come
Jim.
on, it's a very throwaway name. That's the point.
I know, but it just hit me when he was like Jim, and I'm like,
Jim is James, though.
I know, but like he's like it. I'm not gonna say it, but it was just I didn't like the
Yeah, I
vibe
know
of
what
it
you
at
mean.
first.
I know what you mean. I know
I was
what you
like
mean. I know what you mean.
Jim. I
But
feel like is what I call my like my dad's friend. That's what like I would call my dad's friend. That's not what I would call somebody that I'm like
same.
interested in. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. I will say this: not everybody likes the TL Swan's writing style
Mhm.
because it doesn't feel. I think what you said is right because like a lot of people are thrown off by the covers, and the covers are give like more of a darker vibe, but
Yeah.
it's not dark romance. It's contemporary romance.
Her covers look like how you would think it would be written by like Sierra Simone or Lauren Asher or like
Hmm.
Megan Quinn or
Well, I
Nikki
don't know about Lauren Asher. Well, again, I don't know yet because the only book I've read from her, to me, it wasn't that dark. Like,
Yeah, but I don't think of this as like a dark book. I just think the cover is
mm-hmm,
dark and I just don't think the cover really matches the vibe
mm-hmm,
of the
mm-hmm,
story. Like it
mm-hmm.
just it like if honestly if you look at that cover, I would think it's like I would honestly like think like a like I guess you could say like it would be like a mafia. Like that's what I would automatically think. Like
See, and I think billionaire CEO business. That's what I think of.
I don't know because like I don't know. I think it's the yellow and the blue that you don't see that often in like I'm gonna say you don't see that often in an office setting. It's usually more muted colors and stuff.
Mm-hmm,
So like I like when I see this, I'm like, I honestly think like Italian. I don't know
mm-hmm,
why, but like I when I think of like Italian like men like wearing suits and stuff, I always think of like
mm-hmm.
more of the
It's
colorful
yeah, yeah.
colors and
No.
stuff. But I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna.
Mhm. Because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Well, there's a big community out there that doesn't. I am obviously not part of that. Like Tish and Tanya don't like it.
Mhm.
They think the writing style is very simplistic.
Simplistic. Is that
Yeah.
what you said? Okay.
Is that what I
I
said?
can,
I think
but like I can see that what they
it's
mean.
yeah.
And based on their reading styles, I would understand why they wouldn't like it. I definitely think it's a refreshing for me because I haven't
Hmm.
read anything in a month. So I think it's a
Hmm.
good like starting point to
Hmm.
like reading stuff. So
I enjoyed it. I like the story. I like their banter a lot, and I like his flirting. I like that, you know. I like the story. I like the build up, and I like the brothers
mhm.
because that's my sweet spot. My sweet spot is like brothers interacting, and they do often in this
Mhm.
series. So I
Yeah.
think that's why I really got attached to the series. But a lot of people don't like it, and when Tanya and Tish like talk about like how they don't like TL Swan's
Mhm.
writing style, and they just like cannot, I'm like that's fine. But
Yeah.
me, I like it.
Yeah.
So it is what it
Yeah.
is. And so,
It's reading is subjective. That's the thing. Is
it
reading is so
is.
subjective,
It
especially like
is.
you and I could love a series and Tish hates it. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it is and I don't think like there's no hate on Tish or like us. It's just reading
It's just
is
what it
literally
is.
very subjective. I mean,
Mhm.
subjective in the sense of liking a book and stuff. So not subjective in like something is like, oh, this isn't actually as problematic as you think it is.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like I like books and Tish is like, oh, I didn't really like that book. And I'm like, that's fine. Like I loved it. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
pressure you to read it or anything because you probably don't want to read it again. But yeah.
Yeah. It's different. It's different. It's a
Also,
different vibe.
I want to show off my cup. It says dark romance is ruining my life. It's a Starbucks cup.
But
Um
she's like the Starbucks
is
mermaid
it
is like
is it
skeletal.
yeah, it's a skeleton Starbucks mermaid and then it has skull butterflies around.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was gonna put like my Instagram handle on here, but I decided not to because I don't want people to know about that.
Same.
But the
Same.
Starbucks employees love that when I go there. I got all
Mhm.
my friends them.
What's
So
okay? What size is that?
it's a venti.
Okay. Because I never like I don't have any Starbucks cards, but like I don't know how to order with my cup.
You just bring it up and say I want to use this cup, and they have like a sticker that they don't put stickers on this one. They put like a sticker on like because like usually they write, but they have like a sticker that they can print out. That they sometimes they do that for like online orders. They'll just there's a sticker that they print out.
Yeah, but if I go through the drive-through,
Oh, I don't think you can during
yeah, I
drive-throughs.
can. Yeah. So
I
it's
go.
like
I don't have a drive-through because it's on campus. So
I have like two with drive-throughs.
lucky. I
But
collect
anyways,
Starbucks cups, but
I
yeah,
don't have one, so you know,
maybe
it's a
when I
bummer.
come to LA, we'll go to Starbucks
Maybe
together.
you'll come and get me one. But yeah, so that's your first book on your 12
Yeah,
books of Christmas. Okay.
you. Grace is like, I hope she doesn't ask me what I'm reading because, like,
um so uh
oh dear.
guys, this is a great segue into audios. Look, listen. Listen, I said this on my Instagram stories. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably heard this, but if you haven't, you're about to hear it. I need audiobooks to survive. I need them like a fish needs water. Okay, like maybe not like a fish, like a like a like a seal needs water to live. That's its place. It can come on land for a quick second, and then it goes back into the water because that's its space, That's me. That's me with audiobooks, okay? Like I can read books without audiobooks for like a little bit, which I had been doing for the past months. But now I cannot pick up a book and get into it without an audiobook. And I'm struggling and it's really, really hard. And it's crazy because like I was audiobooks, they're not for everybody.
No.
Granted, a lot of things in the book community are not. But audiobooks for me, they provide me with a sense of like hyper focus
Yeah.
on the book. And like me, the way my mind works is like I need things going on in order for me to focus on one thing. Or like literally the only place I can focus and read without any distractions is in the bathroom. That's the only place I can read with no distractions. And I can't be sitting there for like 2 hours
I mean, why not?
because my legs fall asleep. I've tried, okay? I've tried.
I mean, I get that. That's why I enjoy audiobooks a lot because like especially when like there are parts of books where I'm just like I want to get this over with and like
Mm,
I don't want to read it, but like listening to it is different, I feel like because like yes, I'm reading the book as I'm listening, but also I can step away from the book and like go do something else, but I'm still like listening and like getting the story into my head and I'm still
mhm,
reading it. And then I can go back and open the book and read again. That's what I
mhm,
enjoy about audiobooks is like I can do so many things at once and still listen to the story. And it also gives me an excuse not to listen to people because like I'm like, "Oh, I'm listening to something right now. I can't talk to you." So,
because like when I'm doing any type of like schoolwork or like any type of like work.
Mhm.
I'm on my tablet or on my computer doing
Mhm.
it, but I need like the TV on playing
Yeah,
something. I
that's how.
need music also playing. I need like two forms of distraction going on so I can focus
So you can block
on.
out everything else. That's
Yeah. It essentially creates a white noise
yeah.
that filters my distraction
Mhm.
into it, but it's usually like I'm watching a movie that I know. Like if I could put on like The Mummy,
Mhm.
and I freaking love that movie. So yeah, if I'm distracted, I can turn to look at it, but it's not something that will hold my attention that I need to watch it the entire time. So it's like
Yeah.
the audiobooks do that. Where if I'm washing dishes, if I'm cleaning up, if I'm working, or if I'm doing something else, I can listen to the audiobook, and my whole mind, my mental capacity is all focused on the book, and then my physical body is just doing everything else. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm missing parts. I'm not focusing. I can't do it." And to that, I recommend starting with the book and the audiobook together, just to get accustomed to it until you get into the vibe of the book. And
Mhm.
then let's say you have to stop physically reading and you have to go up and do something, you have to drive, you have to whatever, keep the audiobook playing. And
And
your
bring the book with
mind,
you.
yeah, your mind is already listening to that audiobook. So it's just like you're already on the train. You're just
Yeah.
not, aware that you're
Yeah.
moving.
I do that because like I'll be like heading to work and stuff. Like when I was like listening to I think like when I was listening to The Bride Test by Helen Huang, I was like at work for like 2 hours. It was like a 4 hour audiobook at 2x speed. And I would, half of that I read at work, and then the other half I listened to on my way home. And it's
Hmm.
like I would like what I do when I listen to audiobooks is if I'm like stepping away, I'll put my bookmark at the next chapter and close the book, and then when that chapter ends, I'll go back and open the book and move it to the next one. So like I'm still pacing myself within the book to know where I'm at. And I try to end at chapters. I try to end so that my
Hmm.
bookmark is there and I know, and like audiobooks track where you stop anyways.
Hmm.
But I always do that to like keep track of where technically I am in the book, because like
Hmm.
chapters in audiobooks, it doesn't show you where in the book you are. Like you can't see it physically. Like you can
Hmm.
see the chapters, but it's like it's different because all chapter lengths are different.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that's what I like doing is I'll like take it, and like even now I have like my bookmark. I mean, I didn't stop at the end of the chapter for this one, so this is a bad example. But the chapters here are like really interesting. I literally stopped two pages before the chapter, but that's because like I was not wanting to read last night, so I
Yeah.
probably. But that's what I do, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. I really advocate a lot for audiobooks. The problem right now is that I'm reading a lot of like self-published books, and
Yeah,
they don't have audiobooks, or they're not accessible to the author yet. Like it's not financially available for them
yeah,
to do that. And which is completely understandable because they are self-published. A lot of their money goes right back into their production, right back into their craft. So that's completely understandable. Whereas like other books that are like traditionally published, they have like a publisher behind them saying like, let's push an audiobook out, you know?
yeah.
But there are self-published authors who have been fortunate enough to do audiobooks, like TL Swan. She has her audiobooks, though I don't know if you count that as self-published. I still think it's self-published. Um, Lauren Asher has her audiobooks. Does she? No, she doesn't. Sorry.
Mm.
That's just the first one that I looked at. Sophie Lark does have audiobooks for the Brutal Birthright series. That is how I listened to the whole series within a week because the audiobooks are so good. Um, and Danielle Laurie, who is the author of the Maid series, she just released her audiobook for the Maddest Obsession,
Which is only the
um,
second book in the
which
series.
is only the second book, and she's about to release the fourth book in like 4 months. So it does take a longer process. Like Sophie like taught I talked with her once about like her getting audiobooks for the Kingmaker series because I'm struggling to finish it without audiobooks, not because the book isn't good, but it's just because my mind cannot focus without it.
Especially with like her Kingmaker series is pretty thick. Like
It's thick.
they're
It's
let me grab
thick.
it real quick.
It's thick. I picked them up and I was just like, oh my God.
I mean, when I talked about how big they are, they're like 500-page books, and they're like big
Long.
books too. Like they're like, and like they're pretty.
They're
big
long
books.
pages. They're like
Yeah.
your whole face.
It literally is bigger than my face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For audio listeners, I'm holding the book up to my face right now, and it is bigger
it's
than
pretty
my
big.
face.
But it's just like she is going to get those audiobooks out, but it just takes a long while to get to them. So it's just like it sucks because, like, you know, you'll get a book and it's a new release, no audiobook yet, you know.
Yeah,
and it sucks because you have to wait sometimes years to get one.
Yeah.
And that it's like its own like problem with like the publishing industry, because like audiobooks are not just like for like people like me who really enjoy them, who need them to like focus and things like that. You know, could I survive with out an audiobook? At this point, no. But you know,
I mean,
honestly, realistically,
too.
yeah, realistically, could I? Yeah, I am not visually impaired. I can read. You know, I can read the pages.
Yeah.
For other people,
they
can't.
Yeah, I had a customer talk about that, how she had cataract surgery. She's like,
Mhm.
I couldn't read for a while. I was like, and she's like, I started listening to an audiobook, and I was like, I love audiobooks. Like, audiobooks are amazing, and it definitely for people who have vision impaired, or even like who dyslexic, like just being able to not have to like worry about reading it, because I still consider audiobooks to like be like reading, because you're still
Mhm.
like actively like listening. You're not reading, but you're listening to a book, but I still consider it like reading.
It's still reading because the words are still playing. You still
In
it
your
takes a
head.
lot of like
Yeah.
it takes a lot of mental work to grasp the book.
Yeah. I definitely like and I told her, I was like, I love audiobooks. Like, audiobooks are so nice, but I do recognize that like the people who make audiobooks, like the people who record them and stuff, that like takes incredible talent to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I could never.
Mm-hmm.
I could never.
It takes a lot. I've been seeing a lot of them on TikTok lately, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy because like
I went to see the process.
their faces do not match the voices that they make, and
Well, 'cause
it's
they
so
can
interesting to me.
change voices.
Yeah, you know, but like their regular speaking voices don't
Mhm.
sound like their faces, especially with some of the things that they be reading. I'm like, okay.
I'm like, damn,
And
Poppy.
there's one, gosh, it's the one that you sent me. She explained like how she does like spicy scenes and how like her voice changes when she's reading them. And she says, well, I get really close to the mic and my breaths, they become a little more exaggerated. So when I'm talking, it sounds a little more engaged when you're talking in those spicy scenes. And I was like, girl, please chill, back away from the mic.
Something LGBTQ plus just happened to me.
I was like, I'm not in the mental state for me to enter those scenes. So yeah, and I was like, that's really interesting because like you do notice it. And she was just like, yeah, you know, if you're reading like spicy romances, you want the listener to be as comfortable as possible, and you as a narrator have to be as comfortable as possible as well. So you can't think like, oh my gosh, this is weird, because the person listening is going to like be able
think
to
it's weird. Hear that.
They're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel that vibe. So you need to create like that environment of like this.
I'm gonna run and do something real quick. Continue talking.
So it just goes to show like a lot of work goes into the production of an audiobook, and like for an audiobook to be like really good, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a good narrator to get you in that whole like vibe of like wanting to continue it. Because there have been audiobooks that I have listened to and they just weren't for me. Did I listen to it? Yes. But it just wasn't the same. Like there was an audiobook that I absolutely loved that other people did not. The first book that got me into reading this past like 2 years um was The Night Circus, and that audiobook was so good. That audiobook was like amazing. And there have been people who are just like, that wasn't the vibe. But it was also because the book wasn't their vibe. But there have
Yeah,
been
the book,
audiobooks.
The Night Circus was
It's
not my vibe.
it's different. It's not for everybody. It's more like whimsical and more like it feels kind of like an anthology.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's like these other dual narrators, which also is like really dope. I love dual narrators.
I do too.
Dual narrators that we listen to for We Hunt the Flame and An Ember in the Ashes. I freaking love them.
I love them so.
They're so
We
good.
still not have finished that series.
I have not.
I haven't finished both of them.
I have both of them, and
Yeah.
I have
I
not.
have both completed series and I have not finished them. I refuse to finish An Ember in the Ashes though because I do not want it to end. So technically, like this, the world is still there, and it hasn't ended, and I haven't gotten the heartbreak that I know happens in the last book, so I don't have to worry.
The narrators for An Ember in the Ashes and We Hunt the Flame are Steve West, who I love his voice, and
voice.
Fiona Hardingham, something like that.
Yeah.
Love them.
I
Absolutely love them.
Steve West, I don't know who he is, but I want to marry him just to listen to his
Just to
voice.
listen to his voice.
The voice that he used for Elias, I just like, even like in like 2x speed, it sounds amazing. Like I just want him to talk to me. Like, oh, I want
There's
to.
one Broken Vow. I loved that male narrator. That is Sophie Lark's Broken Vow. It's Wen Ross. Wen Ross, his southern twang was. Do you guys want to listen to a little part?
Okay, Tessa Bailey posted a video about window shopping, the narrator, and his twang because the guy is southern and he has a southern accent in the book. And listening to the audio of that, I was like, oh, the Texan in me was kind of like, ooh.
I want to play a little part for you guys.
But
Hold on. I want to make sure it's an appropriate scene.
Grace is like leaning away, trying to be. I mean, we put this as like mature content. I literally.
This is after the scene. Okay. Let me know if you can hear. Just a quick snippet.
16. Raylan. My head is buzzing on the ride back to the house. That was so much more than I expected. I knew that Riona had a whole lot of something bottled up inside of her. Anger or determination or something. But I had no idea she'd be so fucking wild.
That's all you get. That's all you get.
Maybe I'll finish the Brutal Birthright series after I finish the Stopover.
That's all you get.
That had me blush.
I'm sorry. I should have prepared. Imagine if it was the chapter before. The chapter before.
Is it in his POV?
Yeah.
What book is that? What
Broken Vow? It's my baby.
Is it the
that's
second
my baby
one or
Ray?
The third one?
Nah, that's the fifth one. That's the fifth one. Damn. But that's the only one with his narration like that. And like literally, I messaged Sophie Lark about it. I was just like, his voice is everything. And she's just like, the way I like fought to get Wen to do this because he's like literally amazing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you picked your narrator. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it creates like that vibe, and like to have a male narrator just like in your ear,
that's the
just
purpose.
Like feels amazing.
It brings audiobooks bring the books more to life, and I enjoy, especially if you can listen to the man talk.
Oh my god!
Then I feel like you can visualize him better.
You know what? There's this thing called duet narration. duet narration is basically like them, it's dual narrators,
Mhm.
it's a dual POV book, but it's like they don't speak the other person's words. So like if the guy is talking, the male will
Yeah,
narrate
speaks
it.
it. Yeah.
But look, there's an example. I sent this TikTok to Maggie. This is like just some like I'll look for the title after, but this is TikTok.
Come home with me.
I sucked in a sharp breath and locked eyes with him. Are you sure? He closed his eyes and pressed his forehead to mine.
I cannot go another fucking minute without having you. Even if it's only one time, even if that's all we can give each other, I need it. I need you. Please say yes.
I looked him square in the face, my whole body alight. Yes.
That is duet narration. So you see that it's even more realistic because it's like he, like, you know, you don't get the girl
Yeah.
trying to make her voice deeper to make a guy's voice. You get the guy doing the guy lines.
That video gets me
And
because I will go back and listen to that video multiple times after you sent me that.
it is, I think it's called like Tennessee Chance.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Okay, but,
by
like,
Kim Lorraine. Kim Lorraine.
smutty books have made me love Southern accents again in guys because I listened.
It's called An Irresistible Chance. Yeah, it's called An Irresistible Chance. And it's by Jason Clark and Stella Hunter. That's the audio narrators. It came out October 22nd. So I'm definitely going to
Maybe
listen to
use
that
one of your
audiobook.
audio.
One of my, like, that's how bad it is because I have 6, almost 7 credits because I'm getting one next week that I haven't used because I've been piling up credits because I haven't been using them. But if you haven't listened to an audiobook, a spicy audiobook, I highly suggest doing it. And it's crazy because like now a lot of like
they help with
they really do. They really do. Because like now like a lot of like romance of like people in the romance community who I know are like starting to listen to audiobooks and like smutty audiobooks, and they're just like, why did no one tell me that this was a thing? And I'm just like, I have been screaming it for months and months and months, and no one has listened to me. And I highly suggest you try it because it's like a good way, especially if you're like always doing something and you feel like you never have time to read. Audiobooks are the solution.
Yeah.
And you listening to them creates a demand for them, which creates more audiobooks being made because the demand is there.
And it
you
makes
know,
it more
not
accessible.
not just for the people who actually like cannot read, but now you're making it more easily for them to be able to listen to a wide variety. If we get a whole bunch of romance readers looking for audiobooks, asking for them, wanting them, then the people who are visually impaired can now listen to romance books because now we're getting a lot more of them made, you know? And it's just, I'm like a huge advocate for audiobooks because I need everyone to understand that it's more than just like you just listening to music. It's way more than that. And it creates a whole experience, and it's sometimes all someone can experience when it comes to reading. So if you're one of those people that says that audiobooks are not reading, you're wrong. And I'm telling you that right now because it takes a lot to listen to audiobooks, and it's very, very important, and you should give it all a try.
So let's talk about bookshelves, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
we'll wrap it up. So Grace, for our visual listeners who always watch on audio, you can definitely tell that Grace's setup is a little bit different today. She finally moved her bookshelves into her little like nook area. So now she has like a library technically. It's not like your library room, which I love because that was like your one like I think we talked about that earlier this year and like your goal was like to get like a little like library nook is what you wanted.
Yeah, so before I moved, like when I bought the house, um, this space that I'm in was actually going to be where I had my bed. And that was my original room, to just have my bed in here because this space did not have any outlets. It's literally about like maybe 6 by 8 feet. It's not that big, it's very small, and um not too small, but it's small enough for a bed, not a queen bed with like a frame, but like a full, which me, I don't really care. And I was gonna put my bed in here and just have this space for sleeping because like what I had been doing before this is like when I'm in bed, I'm only sleeping. I'm only going to sleep. So when I get into bed, like my body recognizes this is only for sleeping. This is not for scrolling through my phone. This is not for watching TV. This is not for anything else. This is just for sleeping, just to create that environment of healthy sleeping in my bed. So that's what I was going to do. And then in the rest of my room was going to be like my full library office space. So it was going to be my desk and a full wall of shelves and like maybe like a little couch plus my TV there. So it was going to be basically like my living room outside of my bed. That did not go to plan because everybody started convincing me, you need a bigger bed. You need a bigger bed. You're not going to like a full bed. And I'm just like, it's just me. No one else is sleeping in my bed. It's just me. I don't need
For
a queen.
now.
For now. No. As long as my parents live in this space, I will not bring someone home. No, never. But they were just like, you're just gonna want a bigger bed. You're gonna want. I'm like, fine. Last second, I changed my mind. So bed was not able to fit in here. So it's been a struggle trying to figure out how everything else is going to fit with my desk, which needs to be pretty big because of all the things that I do. And then my shelves, obviously I wanted really big shelves, but I think I found a way that it all could work. Sorry, that was a really long explanation to get to this point.
It's funny because Grace has been like asking me, like that's what Grace asked me. She's like, okay, should I move it like this? Because I love rearranging. And it's funny that you started rearranging because like I've had this setup and now I like to change it every 3 months. Every 3 to 4 months, I like to change up my room. And I'm at that point now where I'm like, I want to rearrange. And like Grace has inspired me to rearrange, especially for like my bed is easy to move. It's an air mattress that I basically sleep on. It's not like a mattress. It's a like sleep number, so it's air mostly, so it's pretty light. My bed frame is tiny too. It's an IKEA one, metal. Really easy to move. That I just burped, sorry. But yeah, so Grace has like her little nook now and I'm so excited for her.
Yeah,
And
it's going.
when she finishes all the shelving and stuff, it's going to be nice. But her shelves now look great. So what was kind of your thought process for making those shelves?
So, these are also from IKEA. They are like Liatorp, something like that. So they have like this molding, at the top of them and like the bottom of them to make it seem like more romantic, of a style. Not like the Billy bookcases, which are very simple and like plain. I wanted something more than that. So this is what I did. And I got 2 of them, which filled up pretty quickly, but I still have a lot of space. And originally I had them connected, but in this space it doesn't work that way. So I did them like in an L shape. And I wanted one shelf to be all adult romance and maybe some pretty books, but adult romance is basically it. And me, I'm a very visual person when I'm organizing things. It's more about what I see than anything. So if I see, like, that's why I like doing color coordinated shelves, because for me, if I think of a book, I think of the cover. I think of what color it is,
Yeah.
and then that leads me to where it is. So for this one, I kind of separated them between my dark romances, which are my darker books,
Yeah.
and then my contemporary romances, which is all my color ones. I didn't do them in color this time. I just
It
separated
looks like
it
you
between
separate
light
them
and
by
dark.
like. It
Yeah.
also looks like you separate them by series as well.
Yes. So I do like to keep series together, just because it makes it easier. And a lot of the series that I have, they have matching covers, so it makes sense to do them like that. So on my main shelf is like all my mafia dark romances. It's all my dark covers. And I do them in alphabetical order of author's last name. So they're still all together, and it's still easier for me to look for them.
Yeah.
And then my contemporary ones are also by author's last name and series. So
Interesting.
a lot of people don't like that.
Books. I'm not that organized with my books. I have it separated by these are books I've read, these are books that I need to read, and then I separate them by publisher. That's what I do. Because publishers like Berkeley, this is like my stack of Berkeley. I'll move it up. But you can see my stack of Berkeley books that they've sent me, and they're all the same height. So I can just put them all together. I mean, there's this stack of books that like doesn't fit, but I'm probably, after this episode ends, I'm probably going to rearrange my room because I've been inspired by Grace. And what I want to do is I want to put my computer on the opposite wall of my bookshelf so that when we do the podcast episodes, y'all don't just see this angle of my shelf. You can see my full, like, all of my shelves and everything that I have up here because I want to display it more, I think, especially when I'm on, like, Zoom and stuff. I think it would look better. And because I like this angle, but it just feels not the vibe that I want.
All the way.
And I want to have like I have like a TBR cart that I also want to put like on this because I have like shelves on my desk. But
also, with TBR cart, I put one on my wish list for my Secret Santa thing, and I feel like my Secret Santa got me a TBR cart.
Really? How big is your package?
So. Pretty big.
Oh.
But then Kevin said that he got his person a whole bunch of smutty books, and I'm hoping that he got me. I hope, because I would love a whole bunch of smutty books. I don't know who mine is, which is great because I don't like not knowing. I like being surprised. I feel like being surprised is the best.
It was easy to guess who mine was.
Alia thinks I have her, but I don't.
Alia thinks everybody. Alia, I
like messing with her though.
It is funny because I when I was like, oh, Prime that bitch, and then I was like, oh, they don't have Prime. I was hoping that kind of like been like, oh fuck, they don't have Prime. Like, oh, she's dumb. She doesn't know that. So I'm hoping that. Hi, Alia, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Ah, dang it! If you're listening, I totally give it away. Most likely you didn't though, or hoping that you didn't.
I don't have you, Alia. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got you first. I got you during the first one.
It's funny because like when I was moving my bookshelves, I had all of my books on one shelf because I was able to move one shelf into the space. And then I transferred all of my books from one shelf to the one that was already in the room. And to fit all of my books on there, I had to face them all with their butts out, like the bottom of the book out. So all you saw was like the pages and not even like side pages. It was just the bottom, just so I could stack up the books and fit them. And I got so much so many responses on my Instagram stories about this, about like how angry it made them to see my shelves with like the pages out and only the bottom. Like it's different if your pages are out and their books are upright.
Yeah.
But only the bottom part, just to like stack them like up vertically, was irritating a lot of people. And then I had to like clarify. I was just like, guys, they're not gonna stay like this. I like covers too much to hide them. Relax, chill, guys. Yeah. I like color. I like visual things. So I had to clarify that because a lot of people were not understanding that my books would not stay like that. How impractical would it be for me to try to get a book I
Also,
don't even know where it sits?
Why would you leave your other shelf that empty?
Exactly, people. Come on. But
Critical
a lot of
thinking.
people did understand after I clarified.
Mhm.
But it was just really funny how strongly people felt about books being stacked a certain way.
Mhm.
And so, there are a lot of people who are just like, I want my books to be like straight line with all the
Mhm.
spines, right? Which there's this guy on TikTok who handles a lot of antique books, and
You shouldn't put
he
them up
says
against the
you
back.
shouldn't put them like you shouldn't put them spines all connecting like straight
Mhm.
line, but you should put them flush against the back.
Oh, you should?
Yeah,
Oh, because I don't
because
have all my spines the same. I have them all flushed against.
against the back of the shelf. So let me get a hard.
I've heard other people say that it needs space to breathe, and I saw this like girl on TikTok who she has this little like thing that she can put on the
Yeah.
shelf, and she moves it down and it lines them all up.
So you shouldn't do that because
Mhm.
books, especially hardcovers, the boarding of the books,
Mhm.
after time they start to bow out.
Mm.
So shit, that was my sister calling me. I'll call her back. So books will start to bow out and like fan
Mhm.
a little open at the ends because the board is not being pushed together. So when you have like books flushed against the backside of the shelf, the books
It keeps it together.
the book ends are pushing each other together. So it doesn't bow out. But if you put them with the spines together, there's a lot of different spacing at the ends of the book. So
Mhm.
that way they start bowing. So he basically said, do not, I know how aesthetically you want to like put them all in a straight line so that they
Mhm.
match, but that is not what you should do for like the health of your book. You need to put them flush against the back. And he also like called a lot of people out for like how they remove books from their bookshelf. That like a lot of people go from like the top and they tip
Oh
it
yeah, I do that.
back. Apparently you're not supposed to do that either because
Okay.
like you mess up the spine. And I'm like, sir, how do you want me to pull him out?
Okay, but like I'm sorry, but like I'm probably not gonna have all these books in like 10+ years. Like
I don't
I'll
know. I
probably
might.
I'll probably like some of them yes, but like to be honest, like my preferences are probably going to change in 10 years. Like I might be
That's
like
true.
more of like a regular fiction, so I might donate some books and I'm like,
What?
what?
You think you'll give up smut?
I don't know. I probably
I don't
won't.
think so. I don't think
But like
so.
I might be more into like other things and so
Yeah,
like I might
yeah,
have
yeah. I
to
get
I
what you
might
mean.
sell and donate and I'm like I understand like if there's like books that like antique books that are like
Mhm.
but I'm sorry, but nobody's gonna be reading this book in 90 years. Like, no, not the book, but like this copy of the book, if you know
Mhm.
what I mean. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, look at this antique version of The Stopover by TL Swan, Miles
Yeah.
High Club. The impeccableness
First
of
of all,
this
that whole
book.
title, The Miles High Club. Who's gonna want to read that? Who's gonna want to read that? The Miles High Club. Everybody know what it's gonna be about.
Yeah. I mean, you
No,
read
no.
it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But not that copy. It's on Kindle
Yeah, but
Unlimited.
like that's what I'm saying. Like with like books like that, like what we kind of read books,
Mhm.
I think it's different, especially because we have paperback books. I don't have a lot of hardcover anymore. I did buy a hardcover book because I bought a YA book,
Mm.
and
I have a lot of YA books. I'm trying to get rid of mine.
I
I
wanted
am.
it because I wanted to finish the series, and I've been waiting for this book because it's been like a year plus, and I've been waiting for this book to come out. It's the Brandon Sanderson Skyward series.
Oh. I
I think
never
that book.
started that.
I loved it. I loved the series. It was the same vibe as like the Aurora Rising series by Jay Kristoff, but I do not support Jay Kristoff, so
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
support
trying
my
to
own
sell.
problematic king, Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell both J. Kristoff books and a lot of my other YA books. So if you are know somebody who's reading YA and want to get them a lot of books, and you don't want to buy them firsthand, you can buy them from me. I have a lot. They're on my Depop.
Mm.
And a lot of them are a special edition. So that's a little plug right there.
I also did just put up on my Mercari shop, I did just put up my Defy the Night bookish box edition with the pin as well, because I am not reading it. It literally has sat in the box since I got it. And so I put
Dude,
that
I'm
up
selling my
already
whole box. My whole box is up on my shop,
for
except for the pin.
I literally wanted it though just for the candles. And I saw that they're doing now pins. Like they're doing pins now in their YA box because it's like different book trope pins is what they're doing throughout the year. And so I'm just like I'm kind of done with the whole subscription box. Like it was fun for the first while, and now I'm just like I had my fun run with it, but now I'm ready.
The only book subscription box that I have is the Steam box, which is and Fairy Loot. But Fairy Loot not for much longer.
Well, the Steam box is like it's like a quarterly, right?
So yeah, you could get it quarterly. And so basically what comes in the quarterly box is it's quarterly because it's seasonal. So for the fall box, it was a lot of Latinx books. It was 3 books. So you get it for like each of the months in that season. So I got it for what's it? November, October, September. Right? So you get 3 books, 1 for each month. You get a bunch of different things in it. So you could get like some small business owned soaps, candles, body scrubs. There was a bath.
It's an adult box.
What do you call those?
Pardon?
The bath bombs. Yeah, it was a bath bomb in the shape of a tulip.
Genitalia.
Yeah. Which was very interesting to see.
It's okay. Our podcast is
I
not
still
made
haven't
for
used
kids.
it. I haven't used it, but it's there. And it comes with a lot of things. So that box was really focused on Latinx shop owners and authors.
But it's like a quarterly. It's not something you get stuff every month, but it's
spread out.
Yeah.
If you spread out all the items, there are like enough items for 3 months, but you get it all at once. So I'm also getting the winter box, which is coming, and I get the boxes without vibes. So the vibes are toys. Each quarterly box comes with it if you choose to get it. You can opt without it. Me personally, I'm like, yeah, I would, but like
I don't
one
need it.
every 3 months, I'm like, that's enough.
That's
I don't need a collection of toys, okay? You know, I have already a little
collection.
I already have a little section. I don't need like a full closet full of them.
Wait,
all right.
Have you seen though the TikTok author who has like a suitcase full of them and she makes TikToks about them?
No.
I'll send you the post then.
Oh my gosh.
Like some romance authors, like they have a ton of toys so that they can like experiment and stuff. I also comment a lot on like kink talk videos. I like tag Sophie Lark, and like I've tagged Willow Winters, and I've tagged Kennedy Fox, and I'm like, so when are y'all adding this into your books?
Man.
I do that too often. I'm so embarrassed, but also I'm like, I need the content. Like I saw these like handcuffs that you like hook up to like into the to the door, so they like you'll like close the door and it hooks in, so it like locks you in, and they're handcuffs, and so you're like this. Yeah, I sent that to
I've
Sophie
seen
Lark, and I was like,
I've seen
man.
jewelry that
Yes,
is
I'm getting
also
a lot of jewelry as well right now.
that is
But
also like
I would be so
other
scared to
things.
break jewelry. Like
It depends on how strong it is.
yeah,
If it's steel.
some of them I see though, they're like really dainty, and I'm like, I saw one though that was really cute. It was like a little necklace, and you pop it open, and it's like a roll thing, and you can like roll it. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
This is kind of like a natural end of the episode. We're both like, yeah. Before it gets any more explicit, we're gonna
Before.
end the episode.
But yeah, shout out to Steambox and Mel. It is a adult book subscription box that recently started this year. Last year in December, so it's about to come up on its
First year.
anniversary, I think, this box. So go ahead and support her. She is a fellow SoCal native, and she is a Latinx business
Maybe we'll
owner.
have her
So
on the
go ahead and support.
podcast.
Yes, go ahead and support her. And yeah,
Okay, so
and
thank you,
audiobooks.
Yes,
And audiobooks.
audiobooks.
And
Thank you.
audiobooks.
Thank you everybody for who listened to this episode. It was a little shorter one. We are going to have a couple more episodes, I think, and then we are going to be taking a break. So fair warning that we will be having, I think, a 2-week break. Is what we planned for. Grace is looking at me like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? But we talked about this
I'm
a while
trying
ago.
to remember right now.
We
I'm like,
talked about this like 6 or 7 months ago. But yes, so we also have a backlog. Do stay tuned on our podcast Instagram and our shop Instagram, because we do have some releases coming out in February that Grace and I are really excited about, and then we have a release coming out in January.
we have a release coming out in January, like the first week, I'm gonna say, of January. We'll announce it on that first episode of the new year. You'll probably see it on our Instagrams before then, leading up to it, but the shop will officially open that first-ish week of January, with some special guests that we will have on our podcast for that episode.
For our first episode, yeah.
For our first episode into the new year. So it'll be a fun time. We are really excited. We are transitioning our shop away from print making.
Stickers,
So away from stickers.
We'll
Still would love
have
to do them.
stickers,
Yeah, but we're going into more like things that you would use on your daily walk, but not things that you might not like to show everyone. It's more like little hidden winks of things that other romance readers would like to know. So stay tuned for that. And yeah,
We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
bye guys.